How's it going, everybody? Welcome to this video. You might remember Thomas. He shared his transformation video here on the Bold Cafe channel very recently, and that video absolutely blew up. Now, an interesting dynamic that Thomas had in his story was his relationship with his girlfriend.
So I get home from work. Hi. Whoa.
Watch out for Simba.
Oh my goodness.
Come here and give me some sugar.
It's hard to see it through this. Wow.
Come give me some sugar. Give it a kiss. Give it a kiss. What do you reckon? Still love me?
And Thomas had messaged me earlier today saying, I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it. And I was like, maybe you should take today and tomorrow to just have a think about it.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And then he's just like, nah, I'm doing it. You might not recognize me when you get home.
That's it.
I actually don't mind it.
It's not too bad. I actually
like
got
it.
quite a good egghead.
Yes.
I like how it captures the light.
It does. It actually does.
Now, I get a lot of messages from girlfriends, wives, and even a lot of fellas, right, asking, hey, what do I do about approaching this topic of me losing my hair with that significant other? I sat down with both Thomas and Nairi. We really dived into that topic. Here it is, guys. Enjoy.
You know, it was a big change, a little bit of getting used to. Like, how are you feeling in yourself?
Oh man, it's like the weirdest feeling to talk about as well, from going back to when having hair, all those insecurities.
Yeah.
And almost like the emotional side of it as well. Just
Yeah.
like, it's so crazy. And like having to shave it off, like not having that anymore and just being like so much more in the moment and not letting it hold you back. Like obviously on the skydiving video,
Yeah.
when we woke up and went, because, you know, we've always wanted to go skydiving. And the whole time I was on like my last bit of bond tape for this hair system.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for the new one to get shipped out and everything like that. I'm like, there's no way this thing is going to hold on. It's going to be exposed. You know, my whole, like, everything's going to be out there for everyone to see. And it's going to be on video because we paid for the video. That moment. And the whole time that I should have been focusing on the experience together and just living in the moment and enjoying it, I spent the whole day like wondering, oh, it's gonna fall off. So the whole morning I actually didn't talk at all. And you were even like, Thomas, why aren't you talking to you? That, like, you know,
I thought he was just super nervous.
Yeah.
And here I am, like, literally, I was so nervous. And then, you know, that's why I was quiet. But then you were, obviously, you had other things going on in your mind.
Yeah, I was so scared, man. And like the jump itself, I wasn't even really worried about that. I was more worried about the bloody thing falling off. Hey, like, it's just so crazy. But looking back on it, it's funny.
I think those are the moments though, aren't they, when you kind of going through the whole thing that make you like start to question it, I guess, and think about like, right, is this like sustainable going forward? Like, am I gonna, you know, what if we want to do something like this next year? And I think those are the things that make you question, you know, this is a good opportunity, you know, like, and a good dynamic and something we haven't really had a lot. But I want to touch on the bit you brought up about the emotional like aspect of it all. And it really goes overlooked, and it seems like such a physical problem, you know what, it's just all about looks, but it's a lot deeper than that. And that's why, Nairi, right, with you being here, and I wonder like how much you guys had spoken about this whole thing, you know, because Thomas, you sent me that video of like, you know, joking around with your mom.
Good. Okay. About to go scare my mom with my hair. Follow me.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. Well, good on you, Clinton. Good on you.
it seems like you were quite open about it with family and things like that, which I think is really important, you know, because if it's going to be something that's a massive secret, I think you just put in a whole load more pressure on yourself, you know, and it's just going to be even more uncomfortable with the whole thing, you know. Speaking about the hair system specifically, so the hair loss thing, were you guys together before and then this has kind of happened like throughout, or when did you guys meet during the hair system days? Like how, tell me a bit more so we can get into it.
Okay, so when we first met, I was straight up open and honest with you about everything, and I was like, I told her that I was taking finasteride for my hair, and I was doing the whole regain thing and everything like that. It was really affecting me, not only in my body, just like mentally as well. And I was like, well, you know, I want this, you know, I want to be with you forever. So it's like, I just want to get rid of all that extra stuff that's making me feel like that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I really went off it, because, you know, it was impacting my life a bit too much. And for the reward you get, I mean, you're going to be on it forever. Yeah. You know, the second you stop taking it, that's like, there's no like cure. You just have to do it every day. And it's like, when's enough? You start with, you know, the regain or the 10-minute handstands, and then one thing leads to another. Oh, like microneedling, okay. And then there's all these other methods, and like, you know, they're all different. And it's just like, so now you're doing 10 different options just to either just maintain what you have.
You start to weigh it up, doesn't it? Like how important, again, like is this? And in 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, am I just going to say, okay, I don't want to do this anymore? And then you start to think, well, if I'm going to do that, then like is what I'm doing now worth it, right? Of course, it's individual, you know, but I think as time goes on, you really do start to question, don't you? Like, okay, is this current way that I'm dealing with this worth it? So you guys obviously had that conversation. Again, I get messages from all sorts of people, like husbands who are like, hiding this stuff, you know. They're like, I feel embarrassed, you know, because it is an embarrassing thing for people. They think their partner or whatever is going to see them as like weaker or less attractive. But Nori, for yourself, like I suppose you were happy that he was able to be honest with you about it and things like that. You didn't really see it as like I mean, you obviously said to him, you know, maybe, do you want to be on medication forever? Is that a good thing? So yeah, I suppose that honesty and openness was far more important to you than, oh yeah, my man's got a full head of hair, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If I hid it from her and it was something I just did in my own little quiet space, I just wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
You know, to have it all out on the table. And yeah, it's just one of those things that I wanted to be straight up with her about. And even though like, I think a lot of the times is, like you said, it's individual. And for me, I noticed it a lot, but because we first met, you're like, what are you talking about? You got heaps of hair. So you didn't even realize, but
so I was like, is it more of a preventative thing? I think that's sort of the avenue I was expecting. Was it was not so much an issue now, but it was maybe a lot more than what I thought.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think you strayed away from the medication and then looked into the hair system side of things. So less invasive, but a lot more work to it.
Yeah, well, the first time I brought up talking about taking that next step, because obviously when I hopped off everything, my hair started to fall out like crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and every time we'd go out, it would be even worse than when I was on it, because now I'm looking in the mirrors. Every time someone looks at me, I'm turning my head on the right angle, and, you know, if the wind's blowing and the mirrors and things like that, I'm always adjusting. I'm never like relaxed.
Yeah.
So I'd always be wearing like hats, right? And I was thinking,
you wore a lot of hats.
Yeah, like literally, I would go through like all of our couple photos, like romantic photos of us together, and I would be scrolling through for like 12 months worth of photos, and I could not find a photo where I haven't got a hat on. And like I noticed actually a few comments in that previous video. A few people picked up on the drawing that
in the back. Yeah.
Even that's our favorite photo, and of course I'm wearing a hat in it.
And that was that was a baby shower. So it was outdoors, like a nice little garden. And it was in the shade though.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, you wore hats all the time, even for like you wanted to wear them at dinners at my parents' house, and I was like, no, you can't wear a hat.
Honestly,
it was such a big deal for you that you felt that you needed to wear the hat.
Yeah.
So.
Well, also you had you know, Nari had a recent Christmas party with her work. And it was nighttime, we're going out to a restaurant, you know, everyone's going to be there and stuff. And here I am like, oh, it's nighttime, I can't wear a hat, you know, because I never really go out at nighttime. We're in bed by like 8:30. So grandma's over here. But anyway, so what do? I have to go with something. So I threw a beanie on.
Right.
You know, it was the only thing I could think of.
So it's almost like covering things up all the time.
Yeah, it was just one of those things that was always on my mind. And yeah, I thought, you know, gradually moving on to the hair system, I would stop needing to wear hats and like beanies and things like that. But if anything, it even got more so, like I wore it even more often, just because the maintaining the hair and doing it was just so much work. I was just like, I'm just going to throw a hat on.
Yeah.
You know, it was easier.
Yeah. And Nari, did you pick up on like, it's interesting, Thomas, you talked about just little things like, being conscious, like when you're out, you know, not, you know, kind of head down a little bit like that. And I can totally relate. Nari, did you like pick up on those sorts of things? And did you kind of notice like a change?
I think, to be honest, he did cover it up pretty well for a lot of the time. He likes to bottle things up sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common for most males, isn't it? But yeah, I think it was when we went skydiving, that was the day that I sort of realized that, okay, it's a lot more of a big deal than he was letting out initially. And it was always like a joke. I think you sort of pass things off as a joke a lot of the time, but it actually probably affected you a lot more than you were saying. So yeah, I think when we went skydiving, that was the moment I sort of realized that things were a little bit more intense for you. And we sort of had spoken throughout our relationship about we spoke about the fact that you know, there was some thinning going on and things like that. And you sort of mentioned that eventually you would shave your head.
Yeah.
But he always sort of said, oh, like, you know, when I'm in my 30s, when we have children, when we've got a family, you know, things like that. And I felt like over the last couple of months, those conversations started creeping up a lot more often.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's sort of, and then, you know, a couple of weeks ago, you sort of said, I'm going to do it. And then that's when I was like, oh, I don't know if he actually will do it just yet, sort of thing, because I'd heard it for a while. And then that's when that day you messaged me.
Oh my God.
He was having the worst hair day.
Worst week day.
That morning. And I was just like, I wasn't working that day, so I was just letting him do his thing, get ready for work. And, you know, he comes downstairs and he's not normally in a bad mood when he goes to work. He couldn't get his hair right.
This in the morning, sorry, before you go to work, was it?
Yeah. This is before.
This was last Thursday morning. The day.
Literally the day I messaged you, and I was just like, dude, this is it. Like, I've had it, like, enough. I'm doing it today. Because everything just built up, like you said, like bottled up to a point of me just being like, this is just too much. And it was that day for me as well. And it was just like, it was sweaty, it was sticky, my head was like red. We did talk about it, and you just bought me a new bottle of hairspray. And I said that after I'm finished with this hairspray, that's it, I'm going to shave it off. You know, anyway, that day I must have gone through the whole bottle.
Really? Yeah.
Like literally, I was in there for like 40 minutes, and like the videos I sent to you, how the hair kept coming out.
Yeah.
No matter what I did, I couldn't get it in. How
it gone to like the point of no return, right? Once it so much was on, that was like, you couldn't get it back. Yeah.
I just had enough at that point. I was just like, this is just ridiculous. And, you know.
You didn't tell me anything else. Like, he actually put a hat. He's like, oh, can I put a hat on over the top?
Not professional at all.
And I was like, no, I don't think you should wear a hat to it, like, you know, as a corporate job.
Yeah.
And then if I just wear it in the car and hopefully it'll keep my hair down.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't in the end. And then that's when I got a message that later that day saying, you know, I'm doing it. Yeah. I'm going to do it today.
I literally, like, my cover for it at work, it was the silliest thing. I wore a hair net because I was out of like kitchen and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just kept it on to keep my hair down. And everyone was like, oh, you've got to take your hair net off. And I was like, oh, yeah, funny that.
Yeah.
Like, no, I wouldn't tell anyone like the real reason, but the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know, just like, just let it go, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think, yeah, again, those are the moments that it kind of takes, you know. What was it about that day that, because I'm sure you'd had like other frustrating days and things like that. So was it just like a build up of those things? And then on that particular day, I suppose, what were you thinking? Just like, okay, if I shaved it off, I don't have to deal with that stuff anymore.
Pretty much, and also as well, like you said at the start of the conversation, with you're looking into how much money you're going to have to be spending just for upkeep and things like that, and then I'll have to organize to get my hair cut, and that was the worst part, was finding a hairdresser, because you don't just want to go to an average studio where people cut your hair, like a hair salon, because obviously like a wig, it's not like your real hair, so they don't want to even touch you. They don't want to come anywhere near you, because if they mess it up, then it's on them. Trying to find a time to schedule like a book-in with COVID and everything, it just never worked. It just got to the point where my hair was getting so long, I couldn't like it was just a mess, and I was just like, that's right, it's coming off.
Also, another thing I talk about a lot, I had other things that I wanted to do, and I was kind of focused on, and me having to deal with the hair, and that was really like taking energy away from other more productive things. And I've been watching the Instagram stories and things like that. And it sounds like both of you are quite like, you got lots of things going on. You want to, do things, be things. Was that a factor as well? Like you said, with your career and stuff like that, you've been making moves in that department. Did that help to kind of, I guess, put your attention in a more like positive area? And did that kind of make you feel like, okay, the hair is becoming less and less important to like who I am, what I'm doing? Was that a factor as well for you?
100%. Like, especially having like a corporate job and showing up with this messy hair, everything's all over the place. It's very unprofessional, so having like shaved it off, because I'm 24, it does make me look a bit more mature as well. I've had a lot of comments from older people, specifically like men as well, saying you look a lot more like driven and, like manly and things like that, like taken more seriously almost. I feel like with the hair, I was a bit more of a joke star and things like that. But since shaving it off, we actually have a group of elderly men. I wouldn't say elderly, but like middle-aged men. Middle-aged at the gym. And we've never spoken to them ever. Like, like they train there, we train here. And all of a sudden, the next day I rock up with this, I get some looks from them, and I'm walking past them, and they're like, "Hey, how you going?" It's like, we've been training next to you guys for like 6 months, never said a word to them ever, and then like rock up with this. They're just like, "Yo, what's up, boy?" I'm like, what's up?
You do feel more like, I don't want to say serious, but more like self-confidence. And I think that comes across not only in the look, but like probably how you carry yourself and things like that. Especially, if you go into the gym on a bad hair wig day, I'm sure people can probably pick up on that. Maybe that's what the boys in the gym were kind of picking up on, right?
Yeah, probably.
100%.
Another thing as well, when it came to wearing hats, like, I would always flip it from front to back to front, and whenever we would be training and it would be chest and I'd have to lay down flat.
Oh, on the bench, right? And you've got to, yeah.
Adjust it. Oh man, that 5 seconds to have to think about it before you do your workout, and then move it so no one can catch what's going on under there, and put it on before you're set. It gets you every time, it really does affect you. And like, I see a lot of people, like a lot of guys with hats, and they do the same thing, and I can 100%, without even speaking to them, I know exactly what they're going through.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, they just don't talk about it.
It's exhausting, right? It gets so exhausting, and the toll. And I think that is what a lot of people, so for example, people that just see you, just know you, and no, maybe this was yourself sometimes. It's, you don't really see those little things perhaps, and you just kind of see like you said in the initial stage, like your hair looks, you might say like your hair looks fine, like it's fine. Because you're just looking at it, and it probably does look fine. It's not like you're not going to analyze it and things like that. But to the person who's kind of the stuff they're doing and thinking about and going through to make it look fine is incredible, right? Like we just said, the whole energy that goes into it. And I think that is the often the kind of bit where people are disconnected, those who are kind of dealing with it and those who just see it from the outside. Do you think that was for yourself, Nari? Like when he said, like, I'm going to shave it a little bit like that. I mean, I knew you'd spoken, but maybe some of this stuff is a bit like, I don't know, is it a little bit eye-opening maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've sort of been on this journey with you a little bit as
Yeah.
well. Maybe not for the whole,
Yeah.
you know, for the first, first few years, but I think over the last couple months to a year, it's been, you know, over time, it's, you know, progressed and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was so funny, like when we spoke about it, and I first decided to shave that front part and put the wig on. You were there the first time I did it, and it must have taken me like 2 hours to put this thing on my head.
I mentioned earlier, I get messages, and this is why I'm glad, you know, both of you are here. I get messages from like girlfriends, wives, even mothers, whoever, right? Sisters. And they say like, you know, I can see my boyfriend or whoever is really like struggling with this. Like he's, you know, low on confidence, and maybe they are, in those initial stages, you know, where they find it embarrassing or they kind of don't feel secure about it. I don't know. Would you guys, do you have anything, you know, from your own experience that maybe helped you guys talk about it or deal with it, you know, or open up those conversations? Anything that you think helped? I mean, it seems like humor is an important factor in it, right? But I don't know if you've got any advice to maybe some the women out there who want to like help their guys like through this whole thing. Anything that kind of stands out that you think might be able to help some people?
I think with guys specifically, like, you know, when it comes to these touchy topics, they get really defensive. And with me, because I was open and honest about it straight away, we developed like, okay, we can talk about it. Yeah, it's a rough position for a lot of couples where, you know, they can see their partner suffering, and they're like, oh, what do I say? Like, do I wait for them to bring it up? Do I maybe make a joke about someone? Or like, it's just one of those things I think people tiptoe around and they don't really want to bring it up. Just watching videos of men go through this and really like just embrace it. And the feeling after, it's like, you can't describe it. It's something that has been bottling up for so long, so many insecurities, and you decide, you know what, there's a community out there where they're really supportive, and it's like that next step. You know, there's some people that walk around, they see someone bald, it's like, oh, do they have cancer? It's like, you know, you can't just shave your head because you're balding. It's like not one of those things, you know. But yeah, it's honestly so good what you do, man. Like honestly, like watching your videos, it's really inspirational, and
Thank
yeah,
you.
no, it helps a lot because I feel so good, man. Like, yeah.
Nah, dude, I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. No, I think one of the things, yeah, it was just opening up the whole conversation. You know, I think that's what it really comes down to, and what this kind of thing is turned into. Often, you know, I think it's just giving people the chance, and this kind of goes back to my question to you guys. I think it's you give the person a chance to like actually say like, oh, you know what, my hair's fallen out and it's really making me feel shit, you know, like I don't feel good, you know, I feel less confident. And I think when they're just able to like talk and get it out there, they kind of just start to figure this stuff out for themselves. Even like, you don't necessarily need to be like, you should do this, you should do that, you know. I think it's just the most important factor for, I don't know, partners, whatever, is just to like listen, you know, and not make it so like touchy, so heavy, and just be there to kind of listen in and just give them a chance, I guess, to say how they feel and stuff like that, right? You don't necessarily need, and I think this goes for all things, right? I think people don't necessarily need advice. They almost just need an opportunity to get it out, right? Yeah. And I think that's what the channel has helped to do more than anything, you know, even open up the conversation for people to kind of start to think about it, even with themselves, you know, because you don't want to deal with it, right? You don't want to talk about it. Go back to the skydive, you know, where it's kind of like you're thinking about it, but you wouldn't have wanted to be like, oh yeah, by the way, just so you know, on film, just so you guys know, like I'm just about to jump out of a plane, but actually all I can think about is is my wig gonna stay on, you know? No one's doing that because no one wants to do that, but sometimes you need to like do that, right? Looking forward, then you feel like this is you now, like you feel comfortable, you feel like that, you know, you're ready, you've put that past you, right? And I guess you're feeling like just looking forward to the future and not having to deal with that stuff anymore, right?
100%, man. Like honestly, you know, looking forward to just oh, like it's so interesting, like driving and just having the window down, you know, and just feeling that breeze on your face and your head, and not like adjusting your hair and things like that. And just walking out, I feel like I stand almost like taller. Honestly, when we went to Wet and Wild and things like that, and some of those rides you go down, the water just flushes up and hits you on your head so hard, like it really exposes everything. There's so many instances when we've been together and it's been on like a really nice place, nice day, and there's certain activities we wanted to do. Like if someone wants to do like a hair system or have hair and, you know, be receding, things like that, they got to know as well is like, you know, there's always going to be those situations where you're going to be feeling uncomfortable. And right now, man, like I don't have that, you know, those insecurities and feelings. Like I can go to Wet n Wild now and go down the slide without thinking, you know, my hair or wig's going to, you know, be exposed or anything like that. Oh, Wet n Wild is just like a water park.
Yeah,
it's just like water rides everywhere. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping this look. You know, I couldn't believe how long I was going down, you know, losing hair and how much I let it get to me. And it's just that initial step of, you know, shaving it off. And the realization is like, wow, that's not who I am. You know, I'm a person, I'm not hair, you know.
Yeah, that was key. Yeah,
and it's just really goes to show like who you are. Really loving it. And especially like with things with work or just talking to people, I feel like almost I get taken more seriously without any hair.
No, I'm really pleased to hear it, man. I was excited, you know, when you on that morning when you sending me the videos and stuff like that. I was excited, and I always am. You know, I really enjoy these chats and being able to like put out these, you know, share people's experiences and things like that. So yeah, I got to thank you as well. You know, thank you for having the courage to do it. You know, because it does take a lot of courage to put yourself out there and really say like how it was feeling. I think it is, of course, easier being on this kind of side of the fence, you know, once you kind of dealt with it, because it almost feels like you're talking about another person almost, or like another time entirely, right?
Yeah, that's so true, man. And honestly, the biggest thing as well was, you know, what are you going to think about it? Like
yes.
If will your feelings change? You know, like how is my friends or people at work or just random people going to perceive me? Are they going to look at me and be like, laugh, or, you know, just things like that? Like how will people see me if I didn't have hair? You know, and it just goes to show it's like, well, it's not really that different. It's very individual. You know, it's like with someone receding, how I first spoke to you about it, you were just like, oh, I thought you had plenty of hair.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to the person. It's like, I mean, yeah.
You're more critical of yourself, I think, than what other people view as.
Yeah, that's it.
Like you said, like that is a genuine fear for a lot of guys, you know? So, no, was that ever like a factor, or were you shocked by the look in a good way, in a bad way? Like, I guess digesting it, how has it been for you?
Well, I think that I was actually shocked at how much like I liked it and how good I thought you looked. I think it suits you actually, because he's got quite bold features, so it really does go with his beard and his dark eyebrows and dark eyes. But at the end of the day, like I was gonna love him no matter what, because I didn't like start dating you because of like, well, I was attracted to you regardless, but I mean, you know, it's his personality that I was attracted to. So
I think you were kind of touching on, you didn't see Thomas and thought, oh, I need a man with that hair, you know, and that's the thing that is like, right, Thomas, if you don't have that hair, I'm gonna do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right.
I think that's why I went to the wig, because to start with, I wanted to take a step, but I wasn't ready to do it all completely. And then I was obviously like, you know, how are you going to see me? You know, I've got to have hair. And another thing I noticed as well, like last night specifically, is since we've been together, you know, Nari's never like used her hands to go through my head, or, you know, just go like around and rub my head and things like that. Because obviously it's a wig, like, so she'd never really put her hands through my hair, because I'd always try and steer away from that. And like last night, she was like doing it for the first time. It felt good.
It was really soft and like, it was really nice.
Yeah.
Now I just keep rubbing it.
It's something that's just never been like a thing. And it was just nice, you know. It's almost like I can just enjoy you more if that's possible.
That's like almost like a boundary, isn't it? It's like an off limits thing, which is strange to consider when you know you're together with someone who are like, oh yeah, not there though, you know, like you get rid of it, just don't touch that.
Not there.
Yeah.
Say one thing though. I feel like I do find you more attractive, but not. I don't think it's such a physical sense. I think it's literally a confidence thing because I know how much like courage it took to actually go to that next stage and to just like, you know, just to remove everything. And that courage is really attractive. And yes, I definitely find you more attractive for, you know, more confidence.
You even said it after I did it. You were just like, is there something different? Like,
yeah, I definitely felt like something was different.
You're just like, you're more confident, you know, just with how I go about every day, just normal stuff. I just, you know, it's not a thing that I kind of think about anymore, which is, you know, who knows how many times I used to think about angles, mirrors, people, like looking at my head. Like,
and
you
the
know,
energy that you were probably thinking about those things and not paying attention to the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I can imagine that would have been really
it was draining almost, like emotionally. It's constantly a thing just at the back of your head. I do feel like it is definitely one of those things you have to be ready to do and to commit to.
Yes.
Like if I had any doubts to do what I did, you know, I'd probably be hating it and be like, oh, you know, I wish I still had it. But I literally let it build up to the point where I was just like, I'm so sick of this. I just want to be clean. I want to be fresh. I want to be just happy, healthy.
There can be no regrets because, like you said, if you'd have gone for it like 2 years ago and just gone, now I'm going to shave it off now, maybe you would have thought, oh, but I haven't tried this, I haven't tried that, you know? So you needed to almost go through those like highs and lows to feel ready and to feel comfortable. And I think I definitely agree with that, mate. Yeah.
I have had no regrets whatsoever, man.
Good.
And I'm so happy, and I'm just like, yeah, man, what you do is great. And, you know, if my video or, you know, like many more of the ones that you put out there inspire anyone to do the same thing, go for it, and all to them, you know.
Awesome,
really
man.
good.
Fantastic. No, thank you so much. Yeah, I think listen, it's been good. We really covered like all the things I wanted to touch on. So thank you. It's been great chatting, guys. Really thank you so much for everything. And we'll speak soon, all right?
Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. And once again, a big thank you to Thomas and Nairi. Guys, I've got to give Nairi a shout out, right? She's a fitness coach. She's doing her thing on YouTube and Instagram. So if that significant other that you're going to now go and have that very important conversation with about the hair loss topic, you're going to feel a bit better at it. If they are interested, right, hitting the gym, anything like that, I've linked Nairi's details down in the description box, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you very soon. I've got a pretty crazy update coming really soon. Stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.